and if it's showing up for a group. Okay, so last week we talked about man versus women chemistry. We talk about how the brain works, how the mind works on behalf of that, right? We talk about positive emotions, negative emotions. Do you all remember that?
Yeah. Got it all here.
Yeah. Was that interesting or what?
Super.
Right? Yeah. So it helps when we understand each other a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So today we are going to talk about inquiry. What does that mean? Right? When we talk about, I like always to question everything.
Mm.
We are going to work on bringing inquiry in our beliefs. I used to say bring inquiry into your life, right? I question everything. Why do we have to trust what we read? Why do we have to trust somebody else's? Right? Like
listen in.
No. So one thing is that you are listening. You want to gather all the information that you can possibly have. But James, that knows me a little bit longer and has been working with me individually, I always say question everything. It does. I mean, why I say it, it doesn't have to be the truth, right? Like you want to make your own decisions. You want to try it yourself, and if it works for you, you do it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, right? Like what we were talking about the dairy with you, Mike, right? That you are doing a lot of dairy. There we go. So, and I said that's not really good.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you want to try to get rid of it, but it's your choice. You don't have to do it because they say so. Right? Yes. So we want to question everything. Questioning everything is what helped me to distinguish what is true from what is not, right? Because we have beliefs about everything in our life. And those beliefs are so integrated within our DNA that we barely can distinguish what is true or is a belief. And there is a big difference between that, right? So distinguish what is real for you is really tough because there is a lot of those beliefs that are educated. They are not something that we made up. They are something that our parents taught us. And those things, we made it like that's true for us. And it's not. We can always change our rules. Sometimes we change the rules out of despite, right? Like we get upset with somebody and, with our parents. And something that worked until now, we don't want it to work anymore because that's not us, right? But often we do it for the wrong reason. We do it out of despite. And that's not what inquiry means. What inquiry means is question, even when you think that you are doing the right thing, question if that's the right thing for everyone. Because many times it's not. You have a question, Mike.
No.
Oh, I thought you were lifting your finger. Okay. So there is basically 4 places where our beliefs start. Okay, and we want to work in your beliefs. You from home, Didi, and you, and we want to work on our beliefs. Those beliefs that are so integrated that we think they are true, but many times are not. So I want you to question yourself about the beliefs. So there is basically 4 sources where those beliefs come from. The first one is family. Our parents. Our parents tell us this is right, this is wrong, right? but like there is this belief, and this is a very common one, and I don't know if that will apply for everyone, but there is a belief about alcohol drinking in this country, right? Like I wasn't used to, like I never seen my mom drinking, so I didn't know that people uses alcohol to unwind, right? Like they are stressed after the day. And in the beginning, when I was here, I moved here, and I heard so many women saying, oh, at night I like to take a glass of wine. And I was thinking, why? I mean, like, it's not a holiday, it's not party. Why do you want to drink wine? I mean, it's like, what are you celebrating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am just unwinding. That's a belief. It was my belief that that's not what it is. And it is her belief or his belief that this is how it works, right? So those are beliefs. That's not the truth. You choose to do it or not to do it, but that's just the belief. So many things come from the family. Let's say I was born in a family that this is what happened. My mom or my dad used to drink in the daily basis, and that's where,
Religion.
that's what, yeah, I mean, it's not a religion, but like you think that that's how the world works.
But I mean, the family imposing that on you. You're born into it.
They don't impose it. So that's what happens. Is not, they don't teach you, oh, you are going to drink. No. You see that from the beginning, and you believe that this is how the world rules. So at night, after work, you have a glass of wine because you've seen it your entire life. What happens with that, it won't be a problem if we do a glass of wine to unwind, but many people, like let's say a son or a daughter, might not have the same brain capacity, not the same brain wiring, and it might have that person, that young kid might have an addictive personality. It might have ADD or ADHD, or it might have some kind of compulsive disorder, or it might have some kind of depression disorder. It might have any kind of mental illnesses. What happens with that person is that person has a condition that comes with his or her body, brain shape, whatever you want to call it, chemistry, that is more prone to addiction. If that person starts learning how to unwind with wine or alcohol, and when that person is an adult and develops that addictive personality, might become an alcoholic. And everything started in a family belief that you need alcohol to unwind. Does it make sense? Because everybody has very different conditions, right? Like my brain doesn't work like yours, thank God. Oh. My brain doesn't work like yours, right? Thank God too.
Thank God.
So,
vice versa.
So that's what happens. It happens that the fact that we have different conditions, if you don't question everything for yourself, this is what happens.
I grew up with smokers, and I don't smoke. Never have. So
something else.
I know. Mom and Dad and Deb.
But that doesn't mean, like.
Well, that's the same as like, why do you smoke? And smoking calms you down, so they say. I don't know.
Some people, yes. I mean, whatever you want to make it up. Alcohol.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's the same thing. It's just you want to believe what you want to believe. Right, like
taking this.
It was very funny because look at this same conversation I had yesterday with one of my clients, Elaine, that she was yesterday, last week here, and you met her too. She sent me that this sticker that mentioned like 25 things that CBD does, and I said, okay, I mean, like, I don't know. I tried CBD. It didn't do anything for me, so I am not somebody that counts on that behalf. I cannot say that works for that kind of thing. But then I sent her this, and I want to read it to you so you will see how funny the world works, right? we get to believe whatever we want to believe. And there is some things that are so crazy, like this one that I will read you. Hold on 1 second.
How did you try CBD?
Is oil. CBD doesn't have the THC. The THC is the psychotropic substance. So it's an oil.
Did you apply it or did you drink it? Or?
You can apply it. With some people uses for muscle pain. Uses it for arthritis.
Right.
Uses it for skin problems. Stress. Some people uses it here and it goes through the skin because like the skin absorbs everything. Why cannot find that one? Okay, see my phone. I'm making you wait, but all the tickets from the furniture today. Seems like I have a rat there. No, my glasses. So THC is another substance. That's the psychotropic one, is the one that gets you high, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's another thing that I think it will be good to explore for certain things. So, like everybody wants to believe they're like people that uses marijuana believes that marijuana works for everything.
100%.
Right? I saw your eyes today. So
It's so full of shit.
Oh, there it is. Right through you.
That makes never sense.
okay, well, there is other ways to do it. Okay, anyways, so what I sent her this, so she sends me this. What do you think about this? And I said, well, apparently CBD increases the energy, the good mood, weight loss, reduces stress, boosts the immune system, boosts the productivity, improve quality of life. Imagine like miracles happen all the time with CBD.
Miracle drug.
Yeah. And I sent her this one, which is a commercial, like a commercial to apply to become a certified professional to use this kind of thing. So it said, utilizing radiation to combat cancer is an important career. Earn your radiation therapy degree and help society. Killing microbes, gamma rays successfully kill microbes that cause food decay. So food treated with radiation have a longer shelf life. So if you want to believe that radiation is good for your food, you can believe it because like they know how to sell it. Is that crazy or what? Mm-hmm. So this is the kind of beliefs, right? Like, do we have to believe that CBD cures everything? No, you get to try it. I try it because I was curious, and because I like to try some things. So I tried CBD because it wasn't a psychotropic drug, and it didn't do anything for me. Like I tried because headaches. I used to have headaches due to stress in the past, and I don't know, it wasn't the good quality. I don't know. I tried to get the best one, but it didn't do anything. So those beliefs are things that if you really want to believe it, that's how it works, right? And sometimes just believing it works really good for you, right? Let's say we want to have bread that lasts beyond death, right? You can use radiation for that and you will have bread forever. You can buy a whole room full of bread and you won't have to buy bread ever anymore, right? Probably you will die soon because cancer will kill you, but still, right? Mm-hmm. So we have this kind of beliefs. So family is a very big one. We learn from our parents what's right and what's wrong. And the things that they do that are wrong, we believe they are right because we are used to. Even kids that have been abused, or kids that see abuse in the mother or in the father. I mean, it's very less common, but you know, like husbands beats a wife, usually a kid, or very often, will be a perpetrator. It is an abuser. Sometimes it happens the opposite. This they out of the spite, they become the opposite, right? Like my dad had that experience. He had a dad that was an abuser. He used to beat my grandmother until my dad grew big enough to grab him by the neck and say, if you touch her or get close to her, I will fucking kill you. And I will bury you in a hole in the backyard and nobody will know. Right? And that it never happened anymore. That was it. So he did it completely the opposite. So I remember my dad telling me a story when they got married recently. I mean, like recently, when they were recently married, my grandmother was dead years before that, but my granddad moved with them. So despite that my dad didn't like him at all, they had really poor relationship, he took him in because he was just a poor man. And one day my mom did something, I don't know, with the food or something, and he raised his voice. And my mom told my dad, oh my gosh. So my dad grabbed my granddad, through the balcony and pushed him almost outside the balcony, through the neck, and said, if you raise your voice to my wife again, I will throw you down. And that was it.
That's it.
Right? So imagine that it would have been the opposite. Many people, it becomes a perpetrator because this is what they see. They see that dad beats the mom, and this is what it's supposed to be. Right? You think that that's normal. That's how it works, right? I mean, there is so much information now that, you know, but it still happens. I mean, like how much women abused are out there? Thousands. I mean, like a woman dies every 30 seconds under a partner's hands. I mean, it's crazy. So those beliefs are questionable. Right? And because those are very extreme beliefs, we still want to question the ones that are not so bad. But we want to, like for example, if I am drinking dairy every single day and somebody says, dairy has growth hormone, why do you want to have it? Right? You might want to question yourself, your choice about drinking milk. Right? So this is the kind of belief that we are talking. So family is one. The next one is the school. Teachers tell us what to believe, what's right, what's wrong. And, like there is a good teacher, is great, but some teachers are not great. I had really poor teachers. I mean, like really miserable teachers. And, like, I don't know how I made it through. Like my brother was saying, this teacher made me hate English. That's why I cannot learn English because like I feel like the other one is community. We learn from our friends, or from our parents' friends, or from places where we hang out, right? And the last but not the least is church.
There it is.
Church is a big one, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if anyone was raised Catholic, but like they are the kings of guiltiness, fear, like it's just a belief. Do we have to fear God? No, because God is within you, like why do you want to fear God? So, and guilt. The good thing about Catholics is you can do as bad as you want in your life. They will always forgive you. Silly enough. Okay, so, and that was my upgrowing. So those 4 sources, those 4, I mean, like, we grow with this from birth to adulthood. And adulthood, we choose if we keep studying or not, or we choose if we hang out with the same community or not. We hang out if we go to church or not. We choose if we see family or we relate to our family or not. But those things are already shaped in your DNA. They are already integrated in your body, and those beliefs become yours. So I want you to work on what are those beliefs for you. And I will give you a few examples, because we have this, like when I ask this question, it's like, oh my gosh, where to start, right? So I'm going to give you a place where to start, and we don't have to share, it's just for you, because I want you to question your beliefs about that. So one will be about your health. What's your belief about your health? Do you believe that your health is poor? Do you believe that you are a depressed person? Because that's a conversation that I have with my clients constantly, right? Like, a person comes to me because wants to quit medication, and they have a depression. They've been in antidepressives for 25 years. Like, I have one 28 years in antidepressants. And she believes that she's a depressed person. She has depression, and depression is within her. So that was in the past. So I worked with her for 7 months, and she quit taking any medication, and she's not depressed anymore. In 28 years, there is no depression that lasts 28 years. If you are in medication for 28 years, there is something else that is not working. You don't need antidepressants. Okay, but here there is no system put in place for that. Like in Europe, if you go to neuropsychologically, in Europe, if you go to the doctor and the doctor puts you in medication, you will never stay more than 1.5 years in that medication, in antidepressants. So if a depression is not being cured in 1.5 years, you have to research what else is not working, because it's not depression.
Wow.
Okay, so yes, some depressions last longer, but you want to do other options, you want to do other things, because it means that something is not working. So it doesn't have to be depression. So it's really interesting here. You can take 28 years antidepressants and keep increasing the dosage, keep increasing medication, because it stops working, your body develops resistance. So the medication stops working, and it turns out to be like a nonsense and never ends, right? Until you die, you take medication and you have depression, because antidepressants disable your brain from feeling. So you don't know if you are good or you are not good, but you are not, if you are feeling well or not, because that disables the capacity of feeling. Okay, is very terrible. What about the beliefs about your looks? You look, you wanna, why, like, I am fat, I look fat, I look too skinny, I look like I don't have breast, I look like I have too much breast, I look like I have too big butt, right? Or too little, it looks like a tortilla, right? So we want to see if that's a belief. Oh, it's true, my ass is like a tortilla, that's okay, right? So we want to check that area too, the physical aspect, the insight aspect, the health. Another belief, and that's a very important one, is our qualifications. This is a very interesting one, because in this country seems to be something very important, right? Like, and James knows about that one. Like, I have this argument with so many people. Like, I have to put my PhD degree in my business card, because if you don't have it, like, if you have a PhD, apparently
We'll listen.
your credibility increases exponentially, right? well, I have a PhD and it's not in my business card because I don't want that. And the reason is because my PhD has no relation with what I am doing today.
Wow.
Why do I want to have a PhD in my insurance, my business card?
Because you live here.
Exactly. So I had this conversation with so many people. I am marketing, business coach, you name it. Everybody wants me to put the PhD in the business card.
And so you did, right?
No, I didn't. I didn't because I think this is just more bullshit.
Bullshit.
Right? It's not related. It's not related. My PhD was in international crisis management. I am teaching people how to take care of themselves. How is that a thing?
Well,
Because I have this smarts in me? I mean, that's ridiculous. Okay. So
unless you
qualifications.
believe-
Well, whatever. But you know, like, to me, society has a problem with that.
Mm.
Right? I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. He's from Ireland. It's very funny. And he was saying, he's a plumber. He's a plumber. He owns half of downtown buildings, but he's a plumber. You ask him, he's a plumber. I mean, his business in the beginning, he learned how to do the plumbing thing. So if you ask him, he will say, I'm a plumber. And he owns half of the business. No, half of the buildings, like 2 acres of buildings in downtown. Is that crazy? So if you know him, you know how, I mean, you know, like he's very safe. He has very safe pockets, very smart guy, but he's a plumber because that's his career, right? Like his business card has plumber, I'm plumber, right? That's funny. So our qualifications, we value ourselves for what school taught us that our worth is, right? We have a super smart kid, and that seems to be like Buddha. He's so smart. It can show up everywhere, and we talk about him to the end of the world, right? Big part of my family doesn't even know I have a PhD because my mom never taught anybody. Like nobody knows. It's ridiculous because you know, like it's that kind of thing that you do it or you don't do it. Who cares? Who cares? When we are little and we go to a school and the teacher, I got a lot of that one too. The teacher says, you are always daydreaming. Why? Where are you? Where are you? I mean, I even got some knocks in my head. Where are you? Right? Because I wasn't there. You know, like I probably wasn't somewhere else more interesting. But school sets, I mean, like the last 2 years at school, at grammar school, or high school, I did in high school. It wasn't that terrible, but in between, like 6th, 7th grade, 8th grade, I felt pretty crappy. Like I wasn't really smart. I mean, I always did what I was supposed to do, but I didn't feel like I was going to pull through because they made me believe that, you know, I wasn't the top notch in class. Others were. The 2 that were smarter, I mean, like they were getting a lot of shit done all the time, they are teachers. And they've been working in the same school like since forever. They never evolved. They never did anything else, right? So see how different. You get somebody that motivates you, you get, you know, or you do it yourself. But the power of the influence that a teacher has in a little kid is terrible if it's bad. It's really good if it's good, but it can be devastating. Like my brother stopped school. Super smart. Like he was like the golden ticket in my family. He was really smart. And he quit the school because he couldn't, I mean, like he was bored to death. Had no interest. So, and he's super, super smart. He owns a very big business, construction business, and you you know, like, he is also not telling anybody. So school is that kind of thing that can pull you up or can throw you down the ground. It's a very powerful place. And that, and let me make a point here with that one, because the schools have a tendency of labeling kids, right? This one has ADHD. I mean, like, I had parents come to me and say, the teacher told me that my kid has ADHD. Oh, okay, so they are doctors now too? You know, they make diagnoses on the go, right? Oh, my kid is autistic. The teacher told me that he's autistic. Or this kid needs special aid, right? They label them, and that label is horrible. That label will set a kid for success or will set a kid for failure, for life. So we want to be very careful with what teachers tell our kids who they are, because it's very, kids believe that, right? Another is your worth. Do you have a belief about your worth? This is an exercise. I want you to think about that, okay? About your goodness or your badness, right? I'm a good person. I'm such a good person because I do all these things. I pray to Jesus every single day, and I'm such a good person. And maybe I'm studying you from the back, but you know, like, I go to church and then I pray, right? We have beliefs about that. So I want you to pay attention to if you have any belief about how good or how bad you are, right? Recently, I had a conversation with somebody that when was a kid was abused, and he told me that he never mentioned that to anybody before me because was so ashamed that couldn't tell anybody. Like, you are being abused and you are ashamed. That's a belief that society tells you. If you say something, not so much nowadays, but in the past, I'm talking about somebody that is, I don't know, like 65 or something like that. So, you know, like in the past, there was a lot of belief about, well, if you are being abused, you did something for that, right? Well, when you are a kid, excuse me, you did nothing for that. Okay? No kid or adult, it doesn't matter. Abuse is abuse, period. There's no good on that. Okay, so how good, how bad I am, right? Like, we have two kids, we raise them the same, and this one is a piece of crap, and the other one is such a nice kid. It's just, I can take them anywhere. I can take him or her anywhere. And this one, I cannot go anywhere because always doesn't know how to behave, right? We make that kid believe that it's not good. And the other one is really good, which is good to do that, but you know, like, why do we compare? So this is what happens. Observe your beliefs. And the reason why we want to observe our beliefs, okay, write at least, no, I will go there in a bit. Write 5 things down about your beliefs, something that you think that is a belief and is not the truth about yourself. 5 minutes, go. Another belief about productivity, since we were talking about that one, right? What being productive means to you. Is that a belief? Do we have to be productive 100% of the time that we are awake with our eyes open? Or we can relax one day and that's okay. Or we can go shopping for furniture, as I did today, and I felt like I did nothing. Okay. Do you need a pen? So we want to think about your health. What do you believe about your health? That's a big one. You think your health is good, or you are an unhealthy person? And if you think that you are an unhealthy person because you have a health problem, one health problem, or you have a condition, that doesn't mean that you are unhealthy. That only means that you have an issue, you have a condition, you have one problem. Okay, that's not unhealthy. What do you believe about your health?
Good or bad?
Yes, good or bad. I mean, it's more important point the bad things, because those are the things that stop you from going forward, stop you from evolving, stop you from doing more. What's your belief about your work you do?
About the work I do?
Mm-hmm.
I'm good at what I do. So,
I'm not asking you to I am not expecting an answer, right? Is there any belief that it cuts you short in what you do?
okay.
Okay.
I know well, without saying it, I know I'm good at what I do, but I do know that there are observations that I think I feel from others.
Yeah. So, like, what's the belief in what you do? That's a very important one, because like that, how we present ourselves to other people is the way that, like, I am not reaching what I want because I don't know how to do it. Is that a belief, or is a truth? Like, for example, if they sit me in front, like, I know how to do a lot of things, right? But if they sit me in front of a airplane to drive the airplane, good luck. I don't know where to touch, right? I don't know how to do that. That's the truth, right? I know that one. But sometimes we believe about, our beliefs are the ceiling. We put a ceiling, a lid to our growth, right? How good are you? And you make a scale and you say, I can do this, but I cannot do that, right? Like the day that Bob Proctor told me that, all this knowledge, all your specialty, which is something very different. Nobody does this kind of work. If you die, it will go with you. And the world will miss this. You owe the world to have more people that knows everything you know, right? That's why I created the certification program, because all the knowledge is there. Everything I know is there, everything. And it will keep improving and increasing because I learn things every single day, right? So 6 months ago, I didn't know as much as I know today, because I learn constantly. I study constantly, so I learn, right?
So isn't that just confidence then? Not so much belief.
No, it's a belief. I mean, things that I, like, there is a lot of things. I do have ceilings in many things, right? Because I have a belief about myself, right?
So
I have beliefs about myself. Everybody does. So those beliefs are the things that stop you to being excellent in everything you do, right? You know that you are really good in certain things, but you also know that you are not really good in other things. But there are things that you don't know how good or how bad you are, because you told yourself that this is how it is, and period. Right, Didi? So those are the places where you want to look, right? You want to look where you think that you are stopping yourself.
to improve them.
Hmm?
To improve them.
Well, you have to be aware first, right? Like, let's say, and let's mention this one. So let's say it's so difficult to sell whatever, right? It's so difficult to sell. Well, this is just your belief. It's difficult. If you believe that it's easy, you will do it much easier. Because your belief stops you. Your belief is that that's very difficult. But if you believe that is easy, and it's the same thing, it's created in the same place in your mind. Is that crazy or what?
Crazy.
Right? So why don't we believe that we can do everything? I know that if one day I choose to learn how to fly a plane, I know I will do it because I know I can learn this kind of this skill, right? Another thing is that can be a problem. But if I want to, if I put my mind in it, I will do it, right? Okay, so this is what it is. The beliefs are stopping us. So question yourself, question the areas in your life where you feel your belief stops you. I am not beautiful enough, right? Like how many people think that they are not beautiful enough? It's not Mike's case, but other people think that. Other people think that, right? Like we think that some people think that, you know, they are not good looking, or they have some problems, or they have, you know, well, that's a belief. And that stops you from showing up like who you are in the world. Not for that little thing, that little face that is there, right? I mean, there is one book, Napoleon Hill, in the Think and Grow Rich. Do you have to go?
No, I was just looking to see if that was the book I have here. But no.
No, I have to give you that book. I have it in home. So Think and Grow Rich, by the way, you will get it too, Didi. Napoleon Hill had a son that was born without ears. Without ears. And he made him believe that he could hear. I mean, like, he didn't let the school to put the kid in a class, a special class. They never taught him how to read signs. So the kid never learned how to talk in signs. You know how he learned to hear? They learned that he was hearing by putting his teeth on top of things that were, so he learned how to read vibration. So parents used to talk to him with their mouths touching his head so he could hear them. He didn't hear, he read the vibration of the talk. So he went to college, he got the best job, he did everything normal, and he was born without ears. Right? Is that something or what? So we believe whatever we want. If he would have thought, you know, like Napoleon Hill was saying that he had many arguments with his wife because his wife wanted to do what the teachers told him, right? Like go to a special class for kids, for deaf kids, go to, you know, like other things. And he said, no, he's normal. He can do everything. Anything that he wants to do, he can do it. And for every single night before Napoleon Hill went to bed, he sat and besides his son, and he put his mouth in his head and told him, you can do whatever you want in life. When you will grow up, you will do whatever you want in life for half an hour every single night. And he did. Right? We believe what we want to believe about ourselves. And these things, these groups of things, are a massive influence for that. But when you are all grown up and you are an adult, you can change the odds. It's really hard. It's difficult. It's not easy.
For yourself?
Yeah. You can change the belief. Because it's your rule, your wall, your belief. You can change it. Right? Who says that you cannot drink milk?
Right?
Right?
God.
So there you go.
There you go.
Okay? So the most of those things happen because, and you are lucky it wasn't a wood one, because I got the wood one. All those things happen because there is one law,
One law.
a law of nature that happens even if we want or not. Is the law of relativity. We compare ourselves to something or somebody else. Let's say a square is smaller than b and c, and we only know because b and c are there. But imagine that this is like this. There is only a. You cannot compare to anything else.
It's a genius.
Right? If we look B, we know that B is bigger than A, but smaller than C. And we only know because we see them all. Imagine that we have no A or no C, and B is B. It's just B, right? Same thing with C. Imagine that we have only C. Is that big or small? I don't know. C is C. But now we know it's bigger than B and A because we compare. So everything is relative. It's not true. It's not wrong. It's just, are we comparing with something else? Are we comparing with somebody else? Right? Oh, this kid is so smart. How do you know? Because the other one is dumb? I don't know. I always thought my son was super smart. Did I compare with anything? No, I just thought it was really smart.
Let's see.
Oh, he is super smart. He's super smart. He learned to do things like really fast. He didn't want to go to school because he was bored to death. And for years, he went to a school with kids with high IQ, right? And one point he said, I'm not interested. I want to do other things. Okay. He might go back to school when he is older, but like now he's not interested. So, and that was really hard for me. I had to learn how to swallow that pill, which was not fun at all. Not fun. Because I believed that if you are super smart, you have to have an amazing career because you can do whatever you want. It's like you have no limitations. You can learn. I mean, why not a rocket science? Or why not? And he said, well, you might be interested. I'm not interested in that. Why do I have to do that? Right? I had to believe about that. I had to learn how to unbelieve it because it wasn't my life. It wasn't me. Right? So our beliefs are usually because we compare ourselves to others. So the law of relativity. Okay, do we have a list of 5 things at least that we can work on our belief?
Yes.
I bet you that you can get at least 44.
I bet you.
Right here in the top of my mind right now.
Yeah, right now you could snap out 44, huh? Oh God.
Okay. So this is how our beliefs are created, for good or for not so good.
That's awesome.
Okay. Is that helpful?
Yeah.
I like that law of relativity.
Mhm.
It's so true.
Okay, Didi? Okay. Okay, so that will be the class for today. Okay, look at this. You are ready, yeah? You're ready to go. You gotta go?
Class. You coming?
Which class?
Workout.
Well, we have to talk about that because I need to work out again. Eh? Okay, so
I know. I'd love to stay for extra credit chat.
okay, go. It's good that you have a class.
Are you gonna say something?
I will see you next week. No, we are wrapping up.
Okay.
You can go.
Okay.
No
cheers.
problem. Bye.
Thank
sir.
you. See you, James.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is what it is. Is being helpful? Yeah?
All right.
Is it being helpful, Didi?
I don't hear her.
Can you unmute
Can you
yourself?
hear me
Now.
There we go.
now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, very helpful. The law of relativity, I mean, it's what every mom does to their child. Yeah. So
Class,
something to think about. Can you repeat?
Did you like the class?
I like the class. Yes. Actually, I'm gonna work on my list.
Yeah. So
I need to how to undo my list.
you're what?
How do I work on my beliefs? Like you said, but how do I break those?
Mm-hmm.
By not thinking about them,
Well, believing the opposite. You created your beliefs about telling yourself
believing the opposite.
times why do you believe that, right? Like, I am not good enough, I am not worth it, I cannot sell, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. So what you want to do is tell yourself the opposite. And if you have to write it down 25 times every day,
Okay.
you write it down 25 times every day. This is a way that it sinks really well. At least for me, writing it helps a lot. Right?
Okay.
I
Thank
am
you.
really good doing da da da. I believe that my body is really, really healthy, or I believe that my brain works perfectly, or whatever it is for you, right? So if you have to write them
Right.
25 times every single day, you do it because it's totally worth it. It changes lives. Our beliefs
Okay. That's a good start.
are the ceiling. This is how far we will go
Okay.
if we believe that that's how far we can go. Okay.
Right.
I will send you the class to review it if you want to.
Thank you. Thank you.